Trend number 7 on the list at hotandsocialmedia.com is called AI-generated videos. It sits between Bad Bee For Ya Glow Up transition and Oriental Gantz. Described as hyper-realistic AI fashion-style avatars, slow-motion runway walks, stylized visual presentation, and highly optimized lighting. The article calls it a trend. It is not a trend. It's a disclosure. Because the moment a synthetic performer appears on the same trend list as human dancers, the platform has already solved something important: how to reduce the risk. That's the mechanism, and that's what this is actually about. Wait, when was the last time you saw a trend video on your FYP and assumed there was a real person behind it? The other 19 trends on that list, the middle, Chanel, Folded, Jingle Bell Funk, Gasolina, Kizomba, Swing Dance, dramatic visual transitions, those are performed by humans, real people, real bodies, real movement, real risk. They post, the FYP either picks them up or it doesn't. The algo runs its evaluation, the reach either comes or it doesn't. Trend number 7 doesn't work that way. It doesn't have a bad day. It doesn't have a micro-expression the moderation system flags. It doesn't accidentally move in a way that triggers a reach kill. It performs at exactly where the line is, every single time, by design. And it's on the same list, right there, between the real dancers. That's where this starts. This video is not about the dances themselves. It's about how platforms distribute reach around them. This video looks at how platform algorithms distribute reach around these trends. TikTok's moderation infrastructure scores every frame of every video: watch time, completion rate, skip rate, community guideline proximity, brand safety index, advertisers' suitability. These aren't separate systems. They run simultaneously, continuously, on every piece of content that enters the platform. A human creator navigating the kind of content on that list, the dramatic visual transitions, the oriental dance, the highly polished transformation reveal, is walking a line in real time with a body, with all the unpredictable things bodies do that make content feel real and also make content get flagged. The shadow that lands wrong, the movement that reads as a boundary approach, the micro-expression that hits in the wrong frame at the wrong millisecond. These aren't violations, they're just being human, and the algo doesn't have room for that. It has a score. A human creator doesn't fail the evaluation because they're doing something wrong. They fail it because they exist in a body that behaves like a body. The synthetic performer doesn't have that problem. It is, and this is the actual phrase used by synthetic content platforms describing their own products, zero moderation risk. That phrase appears in pitch decks, in product descriptions, in the documentation of tools that generate exactly the kind of content that populates trend lists like the one at hotandsocialmedia.com. Zero moderation risk. Worth sitting with for a second. That phrase only exists as a selling point if moderation risk is the problem being solved, and the thing that carries moderation risk, the thing that bleeds it at scale across thousands of posts, across every niche that involves a human body performing anything remotely close to the boundaries, is a living creator trying to do their job. Right. Here's the mechanism. Not a theory, a documented pattern in how platforms allocate reach. A creator posts. The trend is new. The format is unproven. The algo needs signal data. It distributes reach to a sample of posts in this format: human creators, various accounts, various follower counts, and watches what happens. Watch time, completion, engagement, the retention curve. Does the audience stay? Do they skip? Do they share? The human creator generates this data. They take the moderation risk to generate this data. Some of them get flagged. Some get shadow reach reductions. Some get content removed entirely. The ones who don't, the ones who found the exact position that stays just inside the line, their performance data is now logged. Pattern confirmed, trend validated. Now the synthetic accounts post the same format, same trend, same structure, same beat, same movement type, same completion curve, but rendered, not performed. Compliance guaranteed. Brand safety score, clean. Advertiser suitability flag, green. Moderation risk, 0. The reach shifts. The human creator doesn't receive a notification about this. They just notice their numbers changing. They post the same format that worked last month and it performs differently now.
They assume they did something wrong. They adjust, they test, they generate more signal data. The cycle continues. When you scroll your For You page, how often do you actually stop to check whether the person in the video is real? Look at the actual list for a second. Trend 9, Oriental Dance. Dance-style motions common in short-form video. Hip isolations, eye contact, hypnotic control. The article notes it pulls a ton of engagement. It does pull engagement, that's documented. High completion rate, high rewatch, high share rate in certain demographics. The algo knows this, has known it for years across multiple cycles of this trend format on multiple platforms before TikTok. The human performers doing this, some of them professional dancers, some of them hobbyists, some of them content creators who learned the form specifically because it performs. They are currently generating the performance data for synthetic models that perform this format better than they do, not more authentically, better, in platform terms, more consistently at lower risk. Trend 10 is Kizomba, couple dancing, chemistry between two people, expressive dance movement. The article emphasizes the chemistry between the dancers. Chemistry is not a visual thing. It reads in microexpressions, in the half-second of timing between two people who are actually paying attention to each other, in the weight of real contact between two humans who are genuinely present in the same room. AI avatar platforms are currently building synthetic couple content. Two rendered figures, synchronized movement, built to hit the same watch time numbers that real couple content generates. No chemistry, just a very good imitation of what chemistry looks like on a screen, tuned to keep people watching for the same amount of time. The two people in that Kizomba video practiced for years to move like that together. The platform logged it. Does it work? In platform terms, yes. The algo measures how long people watch, not what's behind it.
Trend 18 on the list is where something strange happens, because suddenly the person in the video isn't a person. A trend using a celebrity face filter performing dance content. The article acknowledges immediately that it's not actually the celebrity in question. It's a face filter. Someone used a deepface tool to overlay a well-known face onto their own body doing a dance that the article describes as something many viewers find strangely uncanny. That's not a trend. That's face filter tools colliding with the creator economy in a way that the article finds charming and slightly transgressive. What it actually is? Proof of concept at consumer scale. If a creator with a phone and a filter app can render a celebrity's face onto their body dancing on TikTok and that video gets distributed reach and the article documents it as a trend, then the baseline capability for synthetic human performance on the platform is not a future development. It is currently being used by ordinary accounts with free tools, getting reach, being included in trend documentation alongside real human creators. The professional synthetic content pipelines, the ones with actual budgets, actual rendering quality, actual compliance architecture, are orders of magnitude beyond this, and they are on the same platform, running the same algo, competing for the same FYP slots. The face filter video is in the same article as the woman doing belly dance and the couple doing kizomba, three different categories of human content, one of which is not human at all competing for the same reach allocation, documented together as if they're the same thing. They are not the same thing. One of them scales. One of them gets cheaper every 6 months. One of them does not have a bad day. The Gasolina Challenge has been running since, well, the article says since last year, but it's still going strong. That's a 2-year life cycle for a trend format. Sharp hip movements, synchronized footwork, choreographed routines, documented engagement. 2 years of human creators generating completion data on this format. 2 years of the algo understanding exactly what watch time curve this structure produces, what the skip rate looks like when the choreography loses tempo, what the rewatch trigger is in the final 5 seconds. That's a fully trained format. The pattern is complete. The retention model is built. A synthetic performer executing this format now has a complete map of what works, built from hundreds of thousands of human posts. It doesn't need to test anything. The humans already did that. It just needs to stay inside the lines that kept the good posts monetized and avoid the things that got the others removed. This is what training data means in practice, not some abstract data pipeline. The Gasolina Challenge is training data.
The Kizomba videos are training data. The dramatic visual transitions, trend 15, the makeup artist going from natural to a fully transformed look, the eye contact, the reveal. Every high-retention version of that format that a human creator produced is a map for a synthetic system. The hotinsocialmedia.com list is not just documentation of trends, it's a summary of what has been trained.
There's a detail in Trend 7's description worth noting. The article says the AI models feature stylized body proportions, perfect lighting, and movements that mimic real-life fashion walks. The word mimic is doing a lot of work there. Mimicry implies copying something that exists. The fashion walk the AI model is mimicking was learned from human creators performing it on this platform and others. The exaggerated visual styling is calibrated to the visual traits that people tend to stop scrolling for. The optimized lighting is whatever color and contrast keeps eyes on the screen longest. None of this was designed in isolation. It was extracted from human performance data and then reproduced at higher compliance. Some users, the article notes, are impressed by the realism. Others are simply watching for the visual spectacle. The platform doesn't care which. It cares about the completion rate. And a synthetic model hitting the same completion rate as a human creator at zero moderation risk, at fractional cost, with unlimited scale? That's not a visual spectacle, that's a business case. Trend 19 is called the subtle confidence aesthetic. The article describes it as attitude over exposure, confident body language, teasing glances, form-fitting but covered clothing. The article adds, it hits harder than full-on skin because it feels more intentional and self-assured. Feels. The human element here is presence, the sense that someone is genuinely inhabiting their body with confidence, making a deliberate choice about how to appear, actually present in the moment of filming. That presence, the quality of attention behind the eye contact, is what the article is describing. The AI avatar platforms know this. They actually use the phrase authenticity signals internally, which is a real thing someone typed into a document at some point. They're building systems that produce the visual outputs of genuine confidence, the slight asymmetry in a real expression, the posture that isn't quite perfect, the timing that feels like a decision rather than a program. Because the completion data shows that content with these signals outperforms content without them. Human creators generated that data. The signal is being extracted. The presence is being synthesized. Whether they're succeeding is, honestly, irrelevant to the argument. The point is that it feels more intentional is the performance target. The algo measures completion. If synthetic presence achieves the same completion rate as a human creator, the platform systems cannot distinguish them, and the real model gets paid either way. Actually, the real model doesn't get paid either way. Advertising rates in this category are relatively low. The creator fund payouts in trend format content run between $2 and $4 per thousand views on a good day. The synthetic account doesn't file a payout request. The improv swing dance trend, Trend 11, is interesting specifically because it's unplanned. Random partners, random song, no choreography. The article describes it as spectacular because of the spontaneity. Spontaneity is the one thing synthetic content currently cannot perform convincingly at scale. Not because the technology isn't capable of generating variation, it is, but because genuinely improvised movement between two people who are actually responding to each other in real time produces a quality of aliveness that the completion data treats differently from planned choreography. The algo rewards both, but differently depending on context. Improv content has a specific pattern in how people watch it, the slight hesitation before a lift that pays off, the moment where something doesn't quite work and they recover, the visible thinking that happens in real bodies when they're figuring it out together. People rewatch that. People share that. That signature is being studied because the content category that produces it performs well, because the trend is on lists like this one, because where performance is documented, the synthetic pipeline follows. The spectacular spontaneity is currently safe in platform economics terms. Currently. The advertised list at hotinsocialmedia.com documents 20 trends. 19 of them are performed by humans. One of them is synthetic. That's the disclosed ratio. The undisclosed ratio, the actual proportion of trend category content that is now generated or augmented by synthetic tools across TikTok,
is not published by the platform. There is no transparency report. There is no creator-facing data on how much of the reach in a given trend format is currently going to synthetic accounts versus human accounts. What is documented, the number of AI avatar accounts on TikTok has grown substantially. AI-generated content is explicitly listed in the community guidelines with specific labeling requirements, which means the platform acknowledges the volume is significant enough to require a policy. The labeling requirement exists. Compliance with the labeling requirement is, well, the article documenting Trend 7 does not note whether the videos shown are labeled. There is a section in the article featuring an AI-generated catwalk video, described as such by the creator themselves. The account exists. It has reach. There's no registry of accounts where you can check what percentage of your FYP in a given category is now synthetic. There's no creator dashboard that shows you how your completion curve compares to the synthetic accounts competing in your format. The platform has the data. The creator does not. More on this at hotinsocialmedia.com. The trend documentation is the starting point. The mechanism behind it is what the list doesn't include. Trend 20 is Mahalo, walking backward, pulling someone into frame. The article says it depicts two dancers performing together. The final trend on a list of the hottest content on TikTok in 2026. Two people, real bodies, moving together, someone pulling someone else into the frame. The algo logs it. The completion data is clean. The format performs. The synthetic version is already being tested, which means the next trend list will probably look the same, except some of the people on it won't exist. The list will be updated next year. This video analyzes publicly visible social media trends and platform behavior. It does not promote or critique the creators themselves.